Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. And today I'm joined by the lovely Aureylian. Howdy,
Hi,
Aureylian.
Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hi. I know that we both are in need of some resources, so I thought we'd go on down here and do some mining. And I also wanted to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, the television show Quantum Leap. I believe you're familiar with it?
I'm very familiar with the show Quantum Leap, yes.
Excellent. Enjoy a pickaxe as a reward for being familiar with Quantum Leap, and also some torches. Anybody else who would like torches and a pickaxe can go ahead and watch Quantum Leap on the Netflix or the Hulu or whatnot, and I assure you they will be amply rewarded. Don't lose me in the darkness here. Now,
I will follow you closely.
thank you. That is the greatest way that anyone can follow. So I'm just going to continue this little hole here just for the sake of starting somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I watched Quantum Leap all the time when I was a little kid, and there are a lot of things about the show that never really added up for me.
Okay. Like what?
Okay, like, for example, the guy always, he loses his memory every time he jumps from timeline to timeline, and
Yeah?
it's never really explained why. He just does.
Because isn't he supposed to be like the people that he represents? So if he had his own memory, he wouldn't be able to accurately like figure out what was going on in their life.
Well, but the thing is, though, he's a super genius scientist who invented time travel. It's actually,
Yeah.
like, I think from a storytelling standpoint, they were trying to avoid
I found an
him...
emerald.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. You're already
Thanks.
doing better than me. I found some coal. I think they were trying to keep him from being overpowered, arguably, more than anything. But that doesn't necessarily explain why in-universe that would happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about that for a while. And did you ever see the last episode where he jumps into the coal mine in town in Pennsylvania?
Probably not.
Okay.
It doesn't come to mind. Like,
Well-
I remember watching it with my dad a lot when I was a kid, and I know what the story's about, but I wouldn't remember, like, specific episodes or what happened.
Well, in that particular episode, the basic premise of the show, which you guys should all know, because you should have already stopped this video to go watch it on the Netflix, and I think that this is a silverfish block. Uh-oh. Yes, it was. Is that Dr. Sam Beckett is leaping from person to person, like, jumping into their body with his consciousness, and he has to fix things that go wrong in their lives, or try to anyway. And
To
each
correct time, right? Like, to correct the course of history? Is that the purpose?
Yeah, he's making history better. He's setting right what once went wrong, to quote the opening of the show. And there's this kind of question of like, well, why does he have to do this? You know, why is there a correlation between fixing things that went wrong in history with him jumping to the next person? And they just kind of like, don't know for most of the show. And in the last episode, there's this character who tells Sam that he can go at home anytime he wants, because it's not God or fate or time that's leaping him around. It's him. And once he accepts that, he can pretty much do whatever he wants or what have you. He can go home, he can fix whatever he wants, that sort of thing. And it didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like, if he's in control, then how come he's an idiot all the time? Like, how come he... because every episode, he like, essentially his memory pretty much resets.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened in Smallville, though. Like, in every single episode, there was some kind of kryptonite, and he's supposed to be freaking Superman, and yet in every episode, he loses his superpowers to kryptonite.
What a great way to have superpowers, constantly losing them. It's just like...
I know.
Oh, man. Every time the server saves the world, I think of Superman as well. I just got shot by a skeleton in a pool.
I found 3 emeralds and a bunch of redstone.
I found some redstone, some coal, and a skeleton that scared me. I did not like him. I found more redstone, though. That I like.
Do you think that they do it, like, to make people not hate characters? Like, if he was just obviously smart and good at everything he did, it would be boring. So they have to have some kind of, like, weakness or some point at which he's, like, he loses his power so that he's relatable. Like, oh, even the strongest man isn't strong all the time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even Pete and Pete had to do that with Artie, the strongest man in the world. But what it comes back to for Quantum Leap, though, is kind of like this hodgepodge of things that, like, arguably are supposed to go together, but then kind of don't make sense or don't really come together, and they never really explain them. And I was on an airplane, as I'm wont to do when traveling between here and Connecticut, because it is a great distance to walk. And on airplanes you kind of like go half awake, half asleep, and you're sitting there waiting for like your drink or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of like,
what everyone looks forward to on a plane is the drink. Like when you get the drink, you know that like you're halfway there.
yeah, and I'm just kind of like half awake, slumped over in this airplane seat on a 737 or whatever, and all of a sudden, like, I get startled awake, and I'm like, I understand Quantum Leap. I know it all makes sense, and it was just the weirdest
You had
thing.
an epiphany.
I hadn't been thinking about it or anything, just like, because it's just one of those things. I watched the show when I was a kid, and, sometimes I would think about it, but, like, not, on the airplane, or not when I'm, that week or even. But just all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, so here's how Quantum Leap works. The reason that he loses his memory is that, and the reason that he doesn't understand who's leaping to him is essentially he's splitting his mind in two every time he leaps into someone. Like they talk about in the show how it takes like several weeks for him to leap from one person to another, and they don't know what happens. They just assume he's bouncing around in time and space or whatnot. But what I think is happening, have you ever seen the show Dexter?
Yes.
You know how Dexter will
show.
like stalk targets or whatever?
Yeah.
So I kind of imagine that during those 2 weeks when he's not leaped into anybody, his brain is whole, floating around in time, and he's just like building dossiers and profiles on people and things that went wrong and trying to figure out exactly where he should enter the timeline. Like,
Okay.
have you ever seen It's a Wonderful Life with
I have.
George Bailey and the angel Clarence and Joseph and all that?
Yep.
Like, you could make an entire show of that conversation type thing between Clarence and Joseph, where it would be like Dr. Sam Beckett looking at different moments in people's lives, kind of scrolling backwards and forwards, trying to figure out where things went right and where things went wrong, and trying to figure out exactly who he was going to leap into.
Oh, yeah? Where he's, like, doing a case study.
Yeah, it's just him doing the casework that you never see on camera. And the thing about the show Quantum Leap is because he has to kind of split his mind in two, keeping half of him, like, out in the timeline so that he can, pull himself out at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, like, if you put his whole brain into the person, then he wouldn't have the control to, like...
You can never go full other person.
Yeah, exactly, because then you can't travel in time. Exactly.
Right.
And so, essentially, there's this whole, like, show that they never show of him doing this casework and whatnot. And then when he leaps into somebody, essentially what we're seeing on screen, where it's, like, really infuriating, because it's like, oh, this guy's supposed to be a genius, and he's doing all this idiot stuff. Because of his Swiss cheese memory. That's what the other half of his brain is watching.
Oh.
From outside of the timeline, going like, oh, what an idiot. Come on. I chose this moment for a reason. Don't screw this up.
So what this reminds me of is the theory that when Han Solo is frozen, his dreams are the entire Indiana Jones series.
Really?
Yeah, that's a theory.
That's a little weird.
I'm just saying.
Because the thing is, why would he have dreams of the future?
Why wouldn't he?
I mean, I don't know. Do you dream about the future?
I don't know. I know that my daughter dreams about turtles because she talks about them in her sleep.
Really? Is like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or like...
I don't know. She was sleep talking the other day, and I went in to check on her, and she rolled over in her bed, and she had this big smile on her face, and she goes, "Mommy, I was just dreaming about turtles." And then she rolled back over and went back to sleep.
That is adorable. I'll give you that.
It was the cutest thing ever. I'm trying to find you because I lost my pick.
Uh-oh. I'm just one shaft over.
Yeah, I see you.
Just to warn you, my pick is nearly depleted as well.
Oh, so should we head back?
I don't know. What did you get? I got 9 diamonds, 64 redstone change, 6 gold, and 4 iron.
I got 7 iron, almost 2 full stacks of redstone, and 3 emeralds. Oh, and 34 lapis.
Ooh, that's a pretty good lapis haul.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can head back then.
Okay.
I know you have other recording engagements you need to get to. Now back to this Indiana Jones thing, though. Like,
Yeah.
Does this theory explain, like, what the metaphors are for? Like, Han is imagining the Nazis as this alternate version of the Empire, and, like, he's imagining all these different elements. Like, I don't know where he would get the idea of the kid that's his sidekick from. You know, the one that's like, Indy, cover your hot. Like, because, well...
Maybe it's like his dream version of an Ewok.
Yeah, but he didn't meet the Ewoks yet. You gotta think, he's in Carbonite after episode 5. You brought this up, now I'm gonna make it terrible for you.
All I know is that I saw a thing online. It was a picture of Han Solo, and it said, "What if the Indiana Jones series is what Han Solo dreamed about while he was frozen?" That's all I know. And when you were talking, I was thinking about that because it's like an alternate reality with the same person.
It kind of makes. I gotta think about the different elements because, like, there's no Holy Grail style MacGuffin they're really looking for in Star Wars. There's no ancient artifact. You could argue that the Holy Grail was like access to the Force or something like that, or the Ark of the Covenant.
All I know is that I'm kind of proud of myself because it's pretty hard to stump you or surprise you, Joe Hills, and I just managed to do it.
Well, you did it because you're saying something that doesn't have data to back it up. That's what I'm saying is I'm trying to figure out if the data backs this up, and I'm not sure it does.
You are rationalizing a completely irrational statement is what you're doing.
What I'm saying is it might not be a rational statement, but it has enough merit that I think it bears
the only thing in
consideration.
common is the person who is in both of those films.
Well, they have blasters. I mean, the gun thing, that's pretty much straight up. Him being a professor, though, that makes no sense. It's not even clear that they have, that they're literate in the Star Wars universe, actually. Because they use holograms for most record keeping. They don't use text. So the idea of him being a professor who writes books and stuff. Does Han Solo have an equivalent to a fear of snakes? I don't know. I'm sorry, Aureylian. I'm Aureylian, but I don't think that this holds water. Okay. So hold on. Come here. I want to show you something in my base.
Okay. You're talking to the girl who prefers Star Trek much more over Star Wars. So
well, I do too. But I just want to show you something real quick.
Okay. Are you gonna kill me?
No. Come up here.
Okay.
And right-click on this chest. You know what this chest does?
No.
It holds water. I don't think that your theory does. Your theory is the opposite of this chest.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not my theory. It's just a theory I saw on the internet, and we all know everything on the internet is true.
Well, at the same time, any theory from the internet that you bring up is now your theory by adoption. You are espousing this theory. Oh, that got awkward metaphorically, because you don't usually espouse your adopted children unless you're like Woody Allen or whatever.
I don't even know what that means. To marry your kids?
Yeah, essentially.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so that was why that was a bad metaphor. Okay, so you had a bad theory and I had a bad metaphor. So let's go ahead and call it even. This has been an episode with Joe Hills and Aureylian. Any final words, Aureylian?
Find more emeralds next time?
Well, here, have a pearl instead. Alrighty, keep adventuring.